Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Minus watching your tech and coding channel, MyCodeWorks. So guys, in this video, we are going to learn one of the important topic that is called JSON schema validation. Yes guys, so this is one of the important topic in REST or REST API testing, or if you're learning API testing using or automation, whatever it is in REST API. So this is something that we need to validate the thing. Even if you're doing manually, we need something JSON schema validation in our test case. So now I will talk about what is JSON schema. Okay, so let's directly jump into our main agenda and directly jump into the Eclipse once we are done with the theory part. Okay, so I'm not going to do any theory more, but I will talk about little these things. Okay, so if I talk about the JSON schema, then here we have, if you see, JSON schema is a powerful tool. Okay, so for validating the structure of JSON. Now, why we need validation of structure, right? I mean, JSON can become any format, right? It's not necessary that it should come in this format, but it is necessary. Okay, it cannot come in any format. We need to validate the data and their structure, how it is coming from the API endpoint. Okay, why I'm saying that? Suppose if name is coming 1 2 3 something, so this is not something, right? This should come as a string, right? This should come as a string, and this should not be as a 1 2 3. This should be something that characters, right? Something like that. Okay, so who will validate this kind of thing? Okay, the type and how it will come, so these are the thing, right? It is required or not, so the required field, right? Required or not, right? So these things, who will validate? These things will be validated by JSON schema. Okay, so now I will talk about the JSON schema. If okay, so this is basically something they are validating the structure of a JSON data. So the data that is coming from the response, it provides a vocabulary to define that and validate the JSON documents. Okay, so we will create a JSON file and we are going to validate with the same thing. Okay, and JSON schema defines the structure. Okay, first thing, required properties. Okay, data types and constants, right? Constants of JSON data. Okay, so these are the things that JSON data, schema is going to validate your data, right? So that's why we use JSON schema. Okay, so it is commonly used to validate the API responses. So this is something that we use in API response to validate the API response, ensure that they are coming in the expected format. So this is important thing here. Expected format. Okay, so they should come in expected format. To validate that, we need JSON schema. Now, how a common JSON schema looks like. Okay, so here I will talk about the proper or JSON common schema. If you say, this is the example, I will just clear this. Okay, so this is the example how it is a JSON schema looks. Okay, so if you see, this is the example of JSON schema where they are talking about what is this. It's a schema, how they're creating JSON dash schema.org. This is official site of particular JSON schema, and they each and every JSON schema, they should contain this. They should start with this, and after that, for what type of object we are creating this JSON schema, right? So if you see that this is a kind of object. Okay, first thing, which contains properties, basically talk about the how many fields are there. I will tell you how I created this and where I created this, that I will talk about. So properties basically the fields, and these fields, what name is the key, and how it should, that key should be something type of string. Okay, job is the key, I mean the string, I mean the field name, and it should be a type of string. Same idea also should be type of string. Created date that are coming from the response, they should be also type of string. And after this, these are required in the sense this field should come inside the response anyhow. Okay, so this JSON schema looks like they are validating the structure of the or a format of the particular response, JSON response coming from the endpoint. Now I will remove this and I will directly jump into this. What is JSON, like component of a JSON schema? If we talk about the same thing, I will map here. Okay, so the JSON schema components is the type. Okay, how they are validating, like it should be a string, number, array. It can be array, right? So the, like, it can be name should be not like sometime what we see, what how many movies we saw watched, right? Some just example I am saying. So what, how many subject we enroll in this year, right? So that will come inside as a list, right? So at the time we can make the particular thing or a particular data as a type of array. And suppose sometimes it contains the nested things, right? At the time we can make as an object. If we have number, then we can make as a number. If we have a string, we can make as a string. So these are the type, and we are doing the things for the particular field. Okay, now if I talk about the properties something talk about the properties of object and their respective data type. So this is a property actually, and they are talking about the property and their respective data type. Okay, a required basically takes about the properties are mandatory or not, which properties means. So in this property, like what are the properties are required, they should come, right? So this is something, name should come, job and ID and all, this would come and in properties as a property. Okay, so additional constant, we can also maintain this minimum length, we can verify, and max length, minimum, maximum, pattern, we can, these are the things we can validate in the JSON response. Okay, this is enough. Now let's, so what I'm going to do is, now let's directly a little bit now I will talk about how I created this JSON schema. Okay, so I will directly jump into this particular site. We have one particular site. we have one particular site, okay, so that is called liquidtechnology.com, and online JSON to schema converter. We can have lot of number tools are available that will convert your particular JSON to a JSON schema. If you see, I just created from here only. So from here I got this data. So this is something that we already saw in our previous videos. We use this request and response.in, and we used to create the users. Okay, so once we create a users, we'll get the response something like this, that the user has been created, and now we are getting the data as a response here. So that particular response contains name, job, ID, and created it. All are kind of a string. But how will we get these things? They are string or what? So how we can validate? We just copy this. Let's create a JSON schema first. Okay, so I will copy this and I will directly paste it here. So I just pasted it here, and if we click generate schema, it will create this JSON schema. Now I will copy this JSON schema and directly jump into the Eclipse. Okay, now let's directly jump into the Eclipse. What I'm going to do, I will create a JSON schema here, and that should be inside this. Okay, so let's do one thing. So resource, I will create a inside this. Okay, I will paste inside or create a JSON file, and I will paste inside it. Okay, and then let's do one thing. Right click on site. It's taking a little time. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed my YouTube channel, please subscribe and click on bell icon for more updates, and please share with your friends who wants to learn, and please support. So it's taking a little time, ID is not responding, and please comment your system also little lag. I don't have a Mac, and this system is totally little old, so I'm getting little lag here. So I'm going to create a JSON file here. That should be a JSON file. User dash schema dot JSON. Okay, I just created the JSON file here where I'm going to paste this particular schema. Okay, so once we are done with pasting this particular schema, we are going to save it. Now we are going to add the particular library, right? So in order to run this, directly jump into this, and we are going to use, how we are going to validate in rest assured. Now the thing is, we have to install one library that is called JSON schema validator. So we are going to Maven repo. Okay, so we are going to search the particular JSON schema validator, and we are going to install in our particular project. Okay, so I am going to search this JSON schema validator. Okay, and that should come from uh, rest assured, I think. So see, we have one JSON schema validator. We should go with this one, rest assured actual official one. So I'm going to click on 5.4.0, and let's copy this and directly jump into the pom.xml. I will open this pom.xml. And now I'm going to install this. Let me paste it here, and let's save the project, and it is going to start build the project, whole Maven project, and it will download the repository JSON schema validator. Now I will jump inside this particular method called post example, and I'm going to use one method that we have already. So I'm going to use that method called creating a user, right? So where I can go, like directly I can go inside this serialization, deserialization also. So I will jump inside this one. Okay, so if you see here, in previous video we saw request response. We are going to create the particular response here, and we are doing serialization, deserialization. Okay, so how we are going to do perform this particular kind of this what we are learning, okay, so let's use this particular serialization is okay, we can use this, right? So we are going to validate the schema, right? So API users, and we are creating a user. So create user using Pojo class. Okay, so I'm going to create this ram and later, and after that we are getting a user response. Okay, user response, u response, and then rest assured. So as, and then we can validate, right? So user response, before of that I can validate. So let's do whatever it's doing, let's keep it this. And after this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to validate the, I'm going to validate the particular JSON schema. Okay, body, I will import this, I will import this here as a import static JSON JSV validator dot matches schema in class path. Okay, and directly we'll use this one as a Now let's do one thing. Let's run again and let's see. It's saying that okay. So in schema, it is often due to fact that the method is expecting a non-null value, but a null value is passed instead. So in construct of the suggested schema to use, but provided schema is null. But we saved this, right? We added the data inside that schema. So let's go inside this and let's see. We already added this data, so we have this data here, and let's check why it is failing. Okay. Try creating folder under test and resource, moving the file to the test resource computer, and after this, okay, resource. And so are you sure that file is correct? Okay, so let me do one thing. If it passes that correct, otherwise what I'm going to do is I'm going to again paste it inside this resource again. Okay, and let's run this again. What is happening here? Let's see. Sometime what happens, this resources also, so due to that also it will fail. So earlier I used to pass that directly whole directory like where it is, but now I'm going to post my data inside this resources, and I'm just directly accessing this schema in class path user dash schema.json. So this basically find out this where actually belongs either in source. It will check if it is available in source, it will match. Let's see. Okay, so if you see here, we are able to figure out why it is failing here. So basically in class path, it will check inside the resource and check whether this is something that .json or not. And now we are able to validate using this one, right? So we are able to schema, we are also able to do the validation, JSON schema validation right here of the particular user object, right? So that's all for today object. Sorry, that's all for today video. And I hope you are able to understand the things, and sometimes happens that we did mistake, but we'll learn at last. That's the beautiful thing of about making mistakes. If you're not making mistake means you're not learning, or you are 100% learned. Okay, so but as we know that no one is perfect, so we are doing the things and we are learning day by day, and we'll learn new things every day. So that's make the man perfect, right? So now let's meet in next video. Till that, bye bye. And if you have any doubt, please comment, and I will try to help you out. And please reach out me in my Instagram DM. Like you can directly DM me, and I will try to help you out, guys. So thanks for watching this video. We'll meet in next video. Till that, bye bye. Happy learning.